Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my Ninja Gaiden 3 Ultimate Ninja video walkthrough. We're in day 2, this is the second and final part of it, and this what you're watching is the most difficult fight in the game. That is purely my personal opinion, and I don't think this fight is difficult necessarily because of the enemies, it's because of the rocket guys and the slowdown. The combination of bullshit bukkake missiles all the time, while dogs and beret guys who can one-shot you on this difficulty are trying to kill you, is insane. Mix that in with the input fails that are going to happen because your timing goes out the window when the game starts to chug, and it's going to chug, folks, unless you get rid of those missile guys. And as you can see, I have no life. If I get grabbed, I am dead. And this wave of enemies goes on so long, at the end of it you're going to have found religion. It's just ridiculous, it really is. But as we did in the previous video, I'm joined by my girlfriend. Hello. And we're going to be going through a topic random generator thing that's giving us some interesting stuff to talk about, because a lot of what you're watching is me doing repetitive things, and the only way I can make this any more interesting or entertaining is to just go off on some tangents. And there's no better opportunity than when we're swapping weapons and it takes 20 minutes to do so, because this game is just fucking raged, which is a word I hate and Aiden uses, and I don't know why I used it, so I'm not going to say that again. So the first topic on our random generator was...
what are you afraid of?
Which is a pretty big one, really.
Yeah, I've recently found new fears that I didn't know I had, so I could reel them up.
Oh really? What's up? What like?
The fear that my life is going to be disappointing.
Wow. I wonder what that's called. There's probably a phobia of that.
Well, that's the thing.
Life is shitophobia.
Being afraid of something does not necessarily mean it's a phobia. I don't think I have any phobias.
Because you don't think they're irrational.
Because, yeah.
That's
I think
the definition of a phobia is an irrational fear.
Well, that's the thing. I think fearing that your life is going to be disappointing is probably something that most people have. No one wants their life to be disappointing.
Yeah, I think it's probably a realistic fear.
Yeah. The only thing that I get kind of like giddy about is spiders and insects and that sort of thing. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of spiders, but I'm doing okay.
I think that's the nearest thing that I would say I have to a phobia, where it is kind of ridiculous, even if they're teeny tiny. I'm not so good.
I'm trying to think, like I get some social anxiety moments in certain situations, which I wish my body didn't respond the way it does, but at the same time, I'm completely aware that it's just my body's way of saying shit is happening that I'm not comfortable with, and I can deal with it for the most.
Can you talk yourself around?
Yeah, but I don't think that's irrational. I think that's just the way a lot of people work. So I wouldn't call that what I'm afraid of, because fear. I don't know.
There's the usual ones of I'm afraid of being in physical pain, or the people that I love being in physical pain, but then they're just normal things. They're not a specific thing that I say.
The thing with pain nowadays is I don't really view it the same as I used to. Like, I used to be afraid of going to the dentist or the doctors because I used to fear just the outcome. Like, I fear needles, but I don't think I do anymore. Like, the concept of having a needle now is not the same as when I was younger, where I would do anything to get away from it.
That's the thing. I think your perspective changes as well of what, in terms of pain, I think probably more so now than ever, I'd be more scared of the people that I love being in pain than of me being in pain. Or maybe it would bother me more.
Like, I think of the last time I was in pain. Sure, it's not fun, but for the most, I kind of get over it. I've not had a pain recently that I can honestly say has been too much to cope. I've had various and different things, but I always look at it from a perspective of, if I go to the dentist, if it hurt, it's going to hurt a bit because it's the dentist, It's not going to be so unbearable, it has to stop, so why should I be afraid?
Yeah, I know what you mean, actually. Like, the last time I probably did anything kind of bad that actually hurt was break my wrist, and that didn't hurt as much as I thought breaking a bone would. So
I was just about to say then, on Razor's Edge, this fight here is obnoxious. because there's a ton of enemies for some reason. They've added enemies and there's still helicopters. But on this difficulty, with the looks of this, it's just the helicopters. So all you do here is take away his missiles, and then he's got no real weapons, except for his main machine gun, which is useless. So this is a sequence that's harder on Razor's Edge, which is very, very interesting. But, sorry, you were saying?
No, I don't think I've ever felt proper pain. Really, I think that's difficult to say.
Well, it's one of those things where I can't imagine a pain so severe that I just don't know how to respond to it, and I need immediate medicals. Like, a friend of mine broke his hip by falling off a bike when he was going down a hill, and I can't imagine. And we're not talking. He broke his hip in a few different places. I can't think what that complete override of a system must feel like. But at the same time, he might have been in shock and not felt the full brunt of the pain.
Know how to deal with it as best they can, and even if coping with it is passing out.
Yeah, that's sometimes a fun one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just to cut you off, my queen.
No problems.
This boss is a bitch. I hate this boss so much. It's such a female dog. There are certain phases to it where it checkpoints and you keep your life. And obviously, the higher your life is, the easier time you're going to have. And my advantage, or my advice, I should say, is get to the final phase with a decent amount of life if you can. I don't think I necessarily do on this, because I fought this boss enough times to get competent at struggling through it and not having too much trouble with it, but the amount of times you get screwed by the lock-on is not even funny. This is a boss where you have to shoot its engines, yet the game allows you to lock on to its main canopy, which doesn't take any damage. So why does it let you lock on? So you're going to get into this situation where Ryu will start shooting at the cockpit and it doesn't deal damage, and you don't want him to, so you're kind of fumbling with the bow to shoot at something that does take damage, and you get hit because of the incompetence of the game. And it's really annoying. But all you want to do, hit the engines, dodge the bombs. It takes a couple of tries to get the feeling down to how you can evade and where things are going to come. Some of it is a little bit luck-based. It's not a tough boss, it's more of a bullshit boss than anything. Like these moments here, where they put you up against a turret where it can shoot you and just leech your life for no reason. And if you're wondering what I'm doing, the turret eventually stops shooting and its light comes on, and then you can go and beat it up. But it takes forever for that to happen. As soon as its light's on, you go over to it, you do some attacks, and this happens. But I think that this is actually timed, so regardless of if you hit it or you do any damage, this happens anyway. So do the kunai climb, the travesty that is. Make sure you evade. I'm in a real weird spot here where I couldn't get past it and I didn't know what was happening. And then it rewrites itself and you're just thinking, is this not the shittest gameplay you could have ever designed for this moment? But the final phase is the toughest one, because there's going to be these guys with the jetpacks and they're going to catch the auto-aim instead of aiming at the boss, and there's nothing you can do except curse the game and smash your pad and all the other fun things we do as gamers. But back to pain, anyhow. So I was playing football at secondary school, and I was playing the goalkeeper because I was a pretty good keeper, and a buddy of mine took a shot against me, and I dove, I saved it, and I landed on my hand. And I wasn't thinking about my left hand, because obviously my right hand was saving the ball, and as my body weight went down, my palm and my fingers touched my wrist. So my entire body landed on it, and immediately I felt sick. I was immediately in shock, straight away. And I knew something was wrong, and it didn't feel good. And it was uncomfortable, and it was a pain where I was rocking, I was holding my wrist, I couldn't get comfortable. I didn't know what to do with my body because something was wrong. And I'd fractured my wrist. And I didn't know at the time, I just knew something was wrong. And it was one of those moments where it could have been so much worse than it was, but at that moment in time, I couldn't imagine it being any worse. And I know that pain scale is 2 compared to, pregnancy or I don't know, like some ridiculously painful thing. Because it wasn't that bad. I'm just a massive pussy and I'd not had pain for a while.
That's the thing, when I broke my wrist, I don't remember the last... Well, no, I do, but not in terms of I can't handle this pain. So when we're on holiday and my leg swelled up, that really hurt.
That looks bad.
And in fact, I think that was one of the last times that I felt properly frightened, where in my sort of fear and fuzz of panic, I thought, oh my god, they're going to have to take my leg off.
Oh wow, I didn't realise you were that afraid.
That's why I didn't want to go to the hospital, because if at the very least I thought they were going to have to drain it or something, and be injections and scalpels and...
Well, yeah, there you go. And if you were eating, I do apologise, but that is the end of Day 2 Ultimate Ninja.
Sorry.
Thank you for watching, and you take care now.